Hello, everyone. My name is Zahid, and I am your host today again with an amazing guest, Andy. Welcome to our live podcast here in our studio in Berlin, Germany. Let me introduce Andy here. First of all, Andy, welcome to our live show. Thanks for
Thank
taking
you.
the time and thanks for being with us today.
Of course, pleasure to be here. Thanks for having me.
Yeah. So Andy is the founder and CEO of Zapiet. Andy launched Zapiet in 2015 to build powerful Shopify apps that help merchants grow their online business. Over a period of time, Andy grew Zapiet to 40 plus people, and Zapiet apps are powering thousands of successful Shopify sellers globally, bringing in millions of dollars of sales. Um, Andy will share his story with us today and also talk about his journey and also explain how is helping Shopify sellers globally and how is he is helping them getting more conversion. So welcome to the call, Andy.
Thank you very much. It's my first live stream, so kind of bear with me. I'll try
It,
my best.
I promise you that it's gonna be a lot of fun.
Brilliant, brilliant.
Very good. So would you like to share your story with us first? When did you start? So what exactly is the story behind Zapier? So when did you decide to build up Shopify apps?
Yeah, good question. A long, long time ago, probably, I don't know, 15, 16, 17 years ago, when I was previously running a Shopify agency in South Wales. So we were building online stores on all kinds of e-commerce platforms at the time, like your Magentos, your Ozcommerce was a special one for us. And then obviously Shopify come around, and we really wanted to I guess, build Shopify apps. Then we could see how powerful Shopify was, rather than us reinventing the wheel on every kind of project that we had. We could pretty much just, get a theme off the app store, do what we needed to do, add the branding of the merchant, and off to the races you were. Um, and so we really wanted to get into the app space, but unfortunately at the time we just had too much project work, and we had to pay the bills. We had a good team there as well, and so it always kept being pushed to the back. And so yeah, I ended up leaving that business about 2014, and I decided I was going to set off alone, not knowing that I was going to go back into the world of Shopify at that point. But yeah, so I sold my equity in that business for about £5,000 after about 6 years worth of work, which wasn't so great. But the business had its issues at the time, and but yeah, I set off kind of on a world tour. Went straight to San Francisco to do my kind of homage to Silicon Valley at the time. It was a cool place to be, and yeah, I just wanted to kind of be inspired and decide what was next. And it was kind of then that I I fell back into the agency world, doing freelance tasks for Shopify. So I set up a website called shopifyextras.com, and it was like a live chat where any Shopify merchant could come. They could direct live chat straight to me. And then PayPal me the money, like $120 to add a rotating banner or whatever to their homepage, and that worked really well. And it was kind of from there, I would just be searching the Shopify forums, looking, like, I would answer a question for kind of for free to help out, obviously to give back to the community, but I would put in the, what do they call it, the signature, like
Mhm.
Shopify bugs resolved 24/7. And so then I started getting a lot of people contacting me from there. And the more I searched down the forums, I found that thread about pickups and deliveries, and that there was no store pickup solution available on Shopify. So it's kind of then that I was like, I think I can solve this.
By the way, this is an amazing story. Like those 5,000 pounds that you mentioned that led to building up a global presence because your team is very international. You told me about
Yeah.
that. 40 plus people, thousands of Shopify sellers. So this is something which is very amazing. And in my opinion, so the first journey of 5,000 paid in the long term, right? So I hear these kind of stories very often from founders that come on my podcast. It's definitely very motivating for people as well who are thinking of getting started. So you have gone through the whole journey, and we are very happy to see this progress, Andy. So well done. So we are
Thank
proud of
you.
you what
Yeah.
you have achieved so far.
It's amazing to look back and reflect. Sometimes when you're in it day to day, you don't realize it's just
Okay.
another day, and yeah, it's great to
Definitely,
reflect.
and that is why you come on podcast, right? So you share,
Exactly.
you share, you share and inspire other people as well, right? So there are a
That's
lot
it.
of people who are just starting out. Definitely, we are glad to have you here. So share. So I understand you have a developer background. So you build up a shop. You build apps previously. So now you are now leading a team of 40 plus people. So, how has your role shifted from hands on coding to leading 40 plus person team? Of course, I understand this is more like a leadership role now. So, like share with us how the role has evolved over a period of time.
Yeah, it's crazy. I guess the role that I'm in now is definitely more CEO. I mean, I've always been a CEO as the founder, but I maybe didn't play that role so well, or I'm still learning that role now. And it was only kind of well after the pandemic that I was still the only developer at Zapiet. So we had scaled to like the 10,000 merchants more or less by then.
Mm.
We were generating well over $1 million a year in revenue, and it was kind of just me smashing the code out, and we had I think 3 or 4 apps at the time. So obviously my role needed to change there, and thankfully Emily, my now wife, who was the CMO and one of the first employees, like she was the one that said, look, you need to hire somebody. Yeah, you need to, we need to hire some developers. Anyway, I kind of refused. I just wanted to keep smashing the code out, and so she proceeded, and she hired our first engineers, which was a blessing in disguise, and we just
Mm.
onboarded 2 more last week, which is great. And so yeah, so now it's very much a case of like hiring, marketing,
Mm.
yeah, actually thinking about the vision, which is really good. But I still code every day. I can't help myself. It's
Yeah,
there's
it's
some
kind of
kind of endorphins that get released.
yeah. So, which is good, by the way. I hear these stories from successful CEOs who were developers as well, and they tell me, like they cannot live without coding, which is good, by the way. It helps you focus a lot as well. But which side do you enjoy more? Like the leadership side or the technical side? So you like more coding or you like leading other people?
Yeah, I don't. That's a tough one. As I say, I think I'm still very much learning this role as CEO, so I'm still figuring out exactly like what I'm meant to be doing. And then you just find that, oh, okay, can somebody else do this? Like delegate. I just like become a professional delegator. I guess
Yeah,
that's the
yeah.
that's the
And
thing. But
that's the main part of like leading a team. So, and
yeah,
I think it's an art as well. So I did the
definitely.
same when I started. So I have some technical background when I built apps. So I was the technical product manager there, even though I had a support from developers from the day one because I didn't know how to code. So I had to rely on them. And I think I agree with you. So leading a team of 40 plus people, it has to do a lot with the delegation, like training them, leading with an example as well. So which is, in my opinion, very important. So moving back to the main topic here, which is your app. So how would you describe Zapier in a nutshell? So what exactly these apps do? So share with
Yeah,
us
great.
because we have a
So
lot of Shopify sellers in our network, so they are
yeah,
listening. We would
I
like to
guess
understand. Yeah,
I guess we like to think of ourselves as like the pioneers of the local delivery and in-store pickup space. We was the first app to offer an in-store pickup solution, and obviously then spent the past 10 years building out the functionality there. So I would say we're easily the market leaders in that space. We've got 500 plus Shopify Plus stores using us actively every month, from the small mom and pop shops to Fortune 500 companies like Nestle, Ford, Sennheiser. Um, yeah, but I guess that's kind of was what we was doing. So a lot to do with like logistics, rates, yeah, pickups and stuff. But recently we've launched Zapiet Eats as well, which is kind of our take on the like restaurants, the Uber Eats or the
mm,
DoorDashes, but making that, I guess, like kind of trying to democratize that, because these services are kind of really ripping off the restaurants, and we've seen a lot of struggle with like restaurants closing down. It's a tough business, and we noticed in the pandemic a lot of restaurateurs moving to Shopify, and then wanting to kind of sell their merchandise, sell gift cards, all of that kind of stuff, as well as selling their food online. But then those commissions they're paying the third party platforms was just crazy and still is crazy. So we kind of also working on that now, which has been a
Mm.
huge kind of investment and project from our end. And also we decided, okay, what happens if we step into a totally different product vertical? And
Mm.
so we ended up launching a product options app earlier this year, and we've just got our, I think it was 400th merchant install was this morning, and we
Mm.
got applied for built for Shopify today, which was a huge achievement for the kind of the team
Congratulations.
internally working on that.
Yeah.
Because again, if you've got like an app that directly kind of connects to the other one, then it's easy to have one flagship app and upsell the other one. But if you've got one in a totally different vertical, I think that's super hard. But I really wanted to see if we could replicate the success we've had with our kind of flagship app in a totally different vertical. We got a long way to go, but yeah, I'm confident. There's a lot we want to do in that space to kind of innovate and push things forward.
There is a lot of space available, definitely, and a lot of problems that you can resolve. So from the standpoint of someone who has not used your apps, and we want them to use your apps, install them. So I would like to understand what are the top two problems that your apps are solving.
Yeah, great question. So pretty much anything to do with deliveries and because I guess, but mainly I guess most of our merchants are fresh produce merchants, so a lot of the times what they're trying to do is reduce waste. So for example, if you're a florist or a bakery and you like using our apps, you can have a date picker where you can say, okay, customers can order up till 2 p.m. today and they can pick up tomorrow, they can have delivery tomorrow. So then what that allows to do is the baker to know exactly how many of each item they should be baking to fulfill those delivery orders rather than over baking and then the products go into waste. So that's kind of one of the big things that we see. We see merchants also reducing a lot of their returns. So we have kind of a lot of apparel stores that want to switch to offering in-store pickups, because if you're shipping wedding dresses and this kind of stuff, and then the customer ends up ordering seven of them, you know they're going to return at least six, which costs a fortune on returns, costs a fortune on shipping, a lot of logistics time sending all of that out. If you do in-store pickup, then obviously it's much easier to do that. So you don't have those issues. So they kind of, yeah, I think it's just trying to save people, trying to save merchants time, trying to add more convenience to the end customer so they know, okay, these items are going to be ready by then. They don't have to worry
Mhm.
about going into store and they haven't got enough cupcakes left because you've pre-ordered and you've chosen the date and time, so they're going to be fresh. And it's yeah, it really does help. And we're just working on building out parcel locker functionality as well. We had this a good few years ago, but we was probably a bit too soon for it then, maybe 6 years ago. And we're building out this pickup point or pickup locker API, as we've just come back from a conference in Bucharest last week, and like the east of Europe, pickup lockers there are like the primary way of receiving goods, and it's
Yeah.
kind of again another space that we feel we can disrupt and help Shopify merchants there to offer convenience for the customers. I'm in Portugal right now, and we've been trying to get some deliveries the past couple of days, and it's been hell. And so it's driving me ever more to like kind of build this feature out as quick as we can, so then we can get the Portuguese Shopify merchants using pickup lockers, so then me and my wife don't have to deal with this hell what's the local kind of delivery companies.
Oh yeah, definitely. So talking about Bucharest, I see there are some good companies out there as well, Shopify apps. So we had product manager from OmniConvert on our podcast 2 weeks
Nice.
ago, and these guys are doing really good job over there. So how is the Shopify apps ecosystem in Portugal?
In
So,
Portugal, it's fairly small
okay.
at the moment, but we're actually hosting our happy hour next week. If anybody's in
Okay.
Portugal, so next Tuesday night this time, I'm sure we can post the details somewhere.
I
But
saw I
yeah,
saw that as well. We can put it in the links when
oh, that would be fantastic. Thank
yeah,
you. So
for
yeah, we're
sure.
really wanting to try to get Portugal together. We know it's in a lot of installs coming on our product options app. That's
Mhm.
from Portuguese merchants. We already have a lot obviously on our other products, but it's yeah, it's we've spent a lot of time investing into translating our apps, like natively translating. We use AI to kind of do the initial wipe, but then we have internal a fair amount of internal Portuguese speakers on our team. So we spend a lot of time refining that, refining our help docs, our website. And so we're definitely noticing that kind of paying off. And we're seeing like the uptake in the new merchants in both Brazil and Portugal definitely rising. I would say it's slow and steady right now, but I think there's going to be a boom time, and I think there will be in the whole of the kind of the Europe area.
Oh, that's definitely good to hear. So coming back to the apps, so you mentioned you guys are the pioneers of delivery and pickup apps on Shopify. I would like to understand how has the landscape changed. So how because I see more companies are coming in the same space. So Shopify environment or ecosystem has become very competitive. So when I started, there were 4,000 apps, and now 20,000 plus, I think, and the number is growing. So a lot of new apps are coming every day. It is easier to build new apps. So I would like to understand how Zapiet stand out. What are exactly two, three features that make you guys stand out on Shopify App Store? So anything that you can share on that note?
Yeah, sure. I think when it comes to features, I think like they're fairly or relatively easy for competitors to copy. So we really see, I guess, support, internal processes, stability, that kind of that as a feature of the app as well. So because obviously we see a lot on as on our Shopify kind of developer forums and Twitter and that kind of places where you see, oh, this guy stole my app listing, this guy stole my UI. We've been through all of that.
Yeah.
And we're like, okay, they can copy our UI, they can copy this, but what can we do internally to make our business stand out? So like making sure that people understand that Zapier is this premium end quality product. Your
Mm.
data's not going to a far flung land where you don't know what they're going to do with it, what they're going to sell. Nobody should be paying $4 a month for a Shopify app. That's ridiculous. You can't run your business on that. It's not sustainable for them. It's you can't trust it. You need a team. So we really think as well, building out this team adds that kind of trustability where it's not just one guy. If that one guy something happens to them or one girl, then you don't know, like you're scuppered, or the app goes down, you can't get hold of them. That we really, I guess, something that I always wanted and we did as soon as we could was get to that 24/7 support live chat response time, and that was, I think, the key to kind of where we got to today. We did that really early. I think maybe we was one of the first Shopify apps to go to that length again.
Yeah,
It costs a lot of money, but it's
for sure.
definitely worth it and paid off.
It's a big differentiator. I remember when we built our apps, so for in the first 2 years, so we did not get a single review that was less than 5 star. The
Wow.
reason was I was taking care of support myself, right? So I I had the WhatsApp which it installed, and I was replying right away. So if there
Exactly.
was any problem, and I was solving the problem, and I was getting like 5 star review. It's a big differentiator. Your
Yeah.
customer support. If your people understand that how to provide a good customer service, these are basically your salespeople, right?
Exactly.
It's because they convert your free users into paid customers, and if your service is good, that is how you build up the long term success. And I am definitely with you that these $4 or $3 apps sitting in the countries, like where you don't know what is going to happen with your data, so this is definitely not something which is sustainable, and these players are eventually gonna die in the long term. So I
Exactly.
see, and I'm glad that you are building the company with a solid footing. So I would like to come back. So you mentioned something about the pricing. So how does the pricing structure look like? So for example, if people who are listening, if they want to test out your apps, are there free versions available? So what are the pricing tiers? So anything on that note you can share
Yeah,
with us?
sure. So our flagship app, Pickup and Delivery, has a free plan. Contrary to my talk I did in London at Christmas, where I said free plans with the devil. And after Christmas, I kind of had I don't know, an epiphany or whatever, and I was like, okay, let's try this free plan. I speak a lot to Peter, the founder of Judge Me, and they are world renowned for their free plan and the one kind of more the paid for plan. And I was like, okay, something this guy's got to be saying has got to be the truth. So let's give it a go. So we launched our free plan there, and we've definitely seen a huge kind of um, uptick in adoption. So if you'd like to try the app, definitely give it a go. The free plan is fairly generous, and then it's to $29 a month and upwards from there. We're going to start rolling out free plans now across all of our apps. We just need there's a lot of development work to do behind the scenes to make that happen. But again, I think it's a really good way of getting merchants to be able to really experience the app, experience the quality. We was kind of resistant for it because we knew we was going to see a sharp increase in installs when we did it, and we wanted to make sure on the support front that we was able to handle that volume, because we don't want to immediately have a free plan and then free plan users kind of historically they like to leave 1 star reviews. May not even be about your app, it might just be because they're having a bad day. But anyway, since we launched it, I don't think we've had 1 star negative review from a free plan customer. Yeah, that myth was kind of dispelled for now, at least.
Oh, definitely. So, the guys, we will drop the links in discussion as well. Definitely try these apps. So I know Andy, he has built a great company. So
Thank you.
the product is really good. Try these apps, and definitely you can test out the free features, and then based on that you can decide if this is something for you. So Andy, coming back on the founder mindset. So you have built up a company, you are successful, 40 plus people, a great product, thousands of Shopify customers, Shopify sellers who are using your products. You are helping them with day to day operations. What are the key lessons you would like to share with people who are starting out and they are a little bit in the start in this journey?
Yeah, good question. I think have patience is the biggest one. It's too easy to to become impatient, whether that's with the team that you're growing, or with the lack of revenue, or the speed of the installs. The dream of, I guess, software as a service like an app is you build it, you get the MRR, it compounds over time, but that compounding takes time, and so we really need to be patient.
Yeah,
I remember when I first started, I would just put in my mind, like, if I can just get like $20 a month, like I think at the time I was charging like $10 or whatever for my app. I was like, if I can just get 2 paying customers, that's my phone bill paid for the month, every month for the rest of time. And so then it went up from there. It was like, okay, can I pay my, I don't know what the next thing was, but it was about a 60 or $70 thing that I was paying for every month, hit that goal. And so it's to have those smaller goals, I think, along the way is really important. Um, yeah, I definitely think patience is a big one, and marketing. I say this a lot on Twitter and a lot in my talks, and Emily, my wife, our CMO, she's like, you know, so many developers will go out there, build a product, spend like a year, 2 years, like all of their spare time when they could be enjoying their life. They build a product, they get it shipped on the app store, they go through that hell of a process, and then they don't tell anybody about it. And
yeah.
then they wonder why they've got no installs. So then they start work on a second app. And it's like, it's probably not the app that's the problem. You probably just need to tell people about it.
Yeah, I think that's also true on the other side. When people launch Shopify stores, they think like the products will sell on their own. So you need to market everything.
Yeah,
So you need to market.
exactly. I think that idea of, oh yeah, use Shopify and is the better platform because I'm going to sell more. Okay, I think Shopify probably have some statistics that the checkout converts better than others. But to get people to your store to start with, to then experience that checkout, that's what
That's
you
the
need
most
to
difficult
focus
part.
on.
And
Yeah, there's more to it than that. It's not as simple as
100%. Yeah. So consistency, 100% with you, incremental steps. Love that. So uh, setting up goals, small goals, and going gradually. And I think this is something that many people underestimate because so I call entrepreneurship, like a compounding effect. So you take small steps, and then in the long term, so it becomes like a very big thing. But a lot of
exactly.
people I see, they give up in the start because they don't want to go through that struggle. And
Yeah,
I do understand this. It's a lot of struggle in the start. It looks very people look only on the success, but they don't understand what exactly is behind the success, how many days, how many years, how many
Yeah,
weeks, how many things have you sacrificed, right? So all these
exactly.
things which are, I think, very important, and this is the right kind of mindset. um, Consistency marketing, love that take, Andy. Thank you so much for sharing with us. um, I would like to thank you one more time for being with me on this show, sharing your advice with us, helping other people. Guys, definitely check out these apps. We will drop the links also after this live show. If you are building something, if you have an interesting idea, you want to market your product. So this is something that Andy mentioned. You want to pitch your product to 20,000 plus Shopify store owners who are in our network. Get in touch with me, send me a DM, and I will be happy to talk about that. Thank you so much for joining on the show. Andy, thank you so much for taking the time.
Thank you
I'm
very much.
grateful that you took time from your busy schedule and you shared your advice with our audience.
Anytime. Thanks for having me.
Thank you so much. Take care. Bye bye, guys.
Bye.